Hello, hello, welcome to Spellbringers, a total conversion mod for Warcraft 3. Today I'll be shoutcasting two players, but not just any ordinary players, because at the top here playing as our death, this is Ogre Bob, the author of this mod. He's playing the Death faction, and he's versing Usyless as the Order. So this is the second time I've done a shoutcast for this game, so have a look at the first video if you haven't. I do explain a fair bit of the basics there, but I'll go through some of the stuff again, because now we have Death. This is the third faction currently in Spellbringers, and there are more planned on the way, but these three currently are Order, Nature, and Death. So already we're going to see another cheesy game, because Usyless is going for a very, very forward barracks, hoping to punish a greedy build coming out of Bob. However, actually it isn't a greedy build this time around. He's playing it pretty safe. So he's going with the graveyard and an obelisk first, before the quick expansion. So allow me to explain Undead briefly, because they work quite differently than really any other faction in RTS games, and they're quite different to Order in particular in this matchup. So the way that the Death faction works is they get wood from these blight factories. They build those as a structure, and they automatically harvest the trees for wood. And then the Lost Souls are, they have no attacks, but they're quite quick units, and they'll harvest the gold. And then the Necromancers, they toggle between base building and summoning units. So they're very central to the army. We can see that now, building a necropolis, and now he's transitioned into the summoning ritual, where he'll start building a zombie. So sniping the Necromancers, if you can, is quite a powerful strategy, because then they can't summon any more units. But they're quite tough, especially on the creep. They gain a bonus to armor. We see pretty nice walling here coming out of Bob as well, the crypt and the graveyard sandwiching in a nice little choke point, like you would see in StarCraft, Protoss against Zerg, a little, like a zealot wall, as it were. Zombies, they're pretty weak units, but they're very, very cheap. They can be spammed out quite quickly. And so, looks like Bob is kind of worried about aggression, because he's already upgrading his Death Obelisk. So, on its own, the Black Obelisk, which is the farm, it gives them population limit. It gives an aura, providing bonus movement speed and regeneration, but it has no attack. It has to upgrade to the Death Obelisk. So the Enforcers have arrived, very, very quick timing for those. So they're absolutely chopping up these zombies, but now the Death Obelisk has completed. It does so much damage to the Enforcers because of the damage type, magic damage. But very clever here by Usyless. He's actually avoiding the tower completely, looking to chop up these Lost Souls to deny them mining. However, the Necropolis finishes, so the Lost Souls are able to start mining on the second base under the protection of that Death Obelisk. So this attack so far hasn't been very successful, and there's no expansion here for Usyless. Anytime he attacks this base, that tower is going to do so much damage to these Enforcers. Shepherds of Rot have a bit of magic damage themselves, but not quite a lot. They're a spellcaster as well, so they work well in synergy with other units. And there's another Black Obelisk here, giving that buff to these units, but doesn't have the tower upgrade for the damage. Oh, my apologies, I didn't turn off Discord. Here, let me minimize real quick and mute Discord. Okay, Discord has been muted. In fact, that's the Spellbringers Discord chat. I'm sure Ogre Bob's wanting to play some games. So it looks nice that he's denying mining, but it doesn't matter so much because he's still mining in this second base. But it means that at the very least, this attack, it means that the economies are even. So it's going to buy some time, allow Usyless to get his own expansion. Or does he commit to this attack? He has a lot of Enforcers. Now with that many, he could chop down this tower. But no, he's avoiding it. He's going for the main base. Just wanting to perhaps destroy the Necropolis itself. At the very least, it'll keep the mining down to only one base. And there's no tower here to give that the aura, the black obelisk. So these shepherds can kite pretty well, especially if they have the aura bonus. But the damage is pretty low that they can't really stop the enforcers from killing workers. I'm surprised this tower actually finishes. During construction, like in regular Warcraft 3, when buildings are being constructed, they take a lot of damage. So like this especially, he should attack that while it's being upgraded. We'll take it down pretty fast. Still no expansion, still no Spellbringer for either player, in fact. So both players not wanting to tech up too quickly and then get overrun. Man, what a crazy game. Yeah, normally they're a bit more gentle. You go for quick expand. It's kind of the meta, but of course, if you do that too quickly, you can get punished, such as this proxy build. But this Necropolis could get taken down. Of course, once the army actually engages, the enforcers have to turn to fight them. Looks like it should be able to survive. The Necromancer healing as well. It does repair pretty quickly. More enforcers are marching in, taking some damage from the black obelisk. Sorry, the death obelisk. So do they fight these, or do they just commit to the Necropolis? Yeah, it looks like they can kill it now. The shepherds have to back off. Even if the enforcers die here, killing this is huge. It's gonna go down. Oh, and there's the expansion coming out, or about to come out. So I think that's a good timing. Having destroyed your opponent's first base, you've made this attack pay off. Because if Usyless was to just pull back, then he would be up behind a base. It's actually, oh, I think these trees are actually opened. Because in this path, oh no, never mind, this is still locking him in. So there is a pathway between the first and the third base. But you do have to mine it down. You don't mine trees, do you? Chop it down? Yeah, that's better. But escaping with these enforcers is going to be really costly. Ouch. So, yeah, he lost almost 2 enforcers. I guess he could have just stayed here and just... The longer that these enforcers stay, they're going to prevent the... I dare say expansion, given that it's his starting location. Re-establishing his base, so let's say that. So yeah, getting cleaned up now. Has a pretty good number of the shepherds, and oh, good micro-cutting the wounded shepherd away. Still churning out more enforcers. So of course the problem with the proxy build is that if Usyless pulls all the way back home, these barracks can get sniped. Now we can see 2 barracks aren't quite enough. He's getting bottlenecked on his production, so he might want to build some more barracks back at home especially. Has the Spellbringer on the way. So the Spellbringer is going to unlock powerful abilities. You'll see those used. And this is the Death Spellbringer. Very different abilities for each faction. They're kind of themed around the playstyle of the factions and what makes sense for the lore. Having death abilities are obviously a bit more bleak than happy order abilities. So let me explain some of the buildings while we have a bit of a respite, bit of a break from the action. So the graveyard is what allows the necromancers to start summoning units. It's a requirement for every type of summoning. And then it also unlocks, well, rather you use it to upgrade units. And so you have like a blacksmith effectively, this blacksmith here. It upgrades units, damage, attack, for different types of units. Like there's like mana style units, they're like vampires, and there's like, that's one tech path, and the other tech path is it's called the crypt style. So this is what we're seeing here: the hoodlings, the shepherds, the zombies, and then there's air units as well. So it's like a engineering bay in StarCraft, equivalent again to the blacksmith. Okay, so battle out in the middle of the map, and the necromancer can summon units directly on the middle of the map here. This is the Divine Intervention, giving him extra armor to the Enforcer, and the Death Knight has been deployed, a temporary unit, very powerful magic damage, and additionally can use Death Coil to do a lot of extra damage towards these units. But the Avatar of Command has been used, similar to the Death Knight, in that they're both those Spellbringer abilities. The Avatar is in a Spellcaster. He's a bit of a tank, has a lot of health, has a Taunt ability, gives a damage aura. Yeah, so using the Death Coil there to snipe the Enforcers, quite an expensive unit, so you can always pick those off quite well. Oh, going for the Spellbringer, it's a pretty exposed position, but it is the toughest building in the game, so I don't see this going down, but it will definitely force a response. Maybe it will go down. That could be pretty crazy. The Spearmen have pretty good damage against both the Death Knight and the Shepherds, again because of the damage types, unarmored versus piercing. Yeah, look at that. Single volley takes him out. Avatar times out, goes back to the Enforcer. So the zombies are a good counter to the Spearmen. Normal damage, medium armor, or the Eclipse has been used. So the Eclipse turns it into nighttime, lowering the sight range of the enemy units. It also gives bonus armor to the structure, making a big difference. Furthermore, vampires gain bonus attack speed and movement speed, but I don't think we'll see vampires this game. It is a different tech path that we're seeing coming out of Ogre Bob. So he's sending in zombies only a few at a time, not very effective, but he is desperate, doesn't want to lose this structure. It takes a long time to rebuild. It is very costly, and he's going to lose access to those Spellbringer abilities. These towers just slightly out of range here. The Necromancers have a weak attack. It's not very good, but given that it is a strong unit, the Necromancers can be useful in combat. Especially because they have a lot of armor when they're in Blight. Yeah, building another tower. If you can upgrade that, that'd be great. Also making use of the high ground. Attacking up high ground, it's like in StarCraft Brood War, there's a 50% miss chance, but following down the ramp, that bonus is gone. You'll see that miss pop up a few times. That's when they're attacking up the high ground. Yeah, so during that engagement, the Spellbringer has rapidly been repaired by 3 Necromancers. It does cost him resources to do that, so it isn't free. And now upgrading the Death Obelisk, so focusing this tower down would be very effective if you can do it. Any tech behind this? We do have a war factory and a 3rd barracks, but still, look how bogged up this production is. Needs to have more than that. A two gold-based economy. You need about 4 or 5. Okay, sniping this one. They're trying to. It's about to complete. When it will complete, it'll take much less damage. Yeah, and it finishes. It can also be repaired. Has more health, has more armor than the regular black obelisk. So Koth has held on. That's Ogre Bob. He's held on. He has a Death Obelisk. I don't think we've seen any upgrades. No, we have not. He's getting some tech upgrades, like spell upgrades and abilities. This will give him more utility with his Shepherds of Rot, but no standard stat upgrades. Well, whereas, look at this. Usyless has both +1 attacks and +1 armor. Now, oh, did he miss the Necromancer building a Necropolis? Ah, he just missed it. That's bad timing. So for order, the ranged attacks are separate to the melee attacks. And there's also a 3rd upgrade. It's for gunpowder stuff. So there's catapults, there's airship defenders, they're like gunships. I think there's something else that also benefits from it. Maybe cannon towers. Anyway, we have a lot of spearmen, and we just saw the siege spears upgrade be completed. So the siege spears requires the war factory, and it's unlocked from the lumber mill. And what that does is it gives the spearmen bonus damage versus buildings. I think they also get a little bit extra damage too. So a very strong upgrade, and it's especially good versus the Death Obelisks because they do magic damage. So they're very good against enforcers, but not against the spearmen. However, given that there's now so many zombies, in combination with the Shepherds, it's going to be a pretty tough army to crack. Oh, look at that, using the Death Coil to take out the shielded enforcer. Now we have the Shepherds of Rot are casting their plague ability. So when a unit has the plague, when it's died, when it is killed rather, it detonates, doing damage around. I think it's called Corpse Explosion. Forgive me for getting some of these names wrong, but very powerful, especially against clumped up units. Yeah, and it's forced him back. So now he's lost the front line of enforcers. The spearmen on their own, not good against the zombies. Again, for the damage and armor types. Taking out these barracks, so Usyless now on the run, but he has some clerics mixed in. The clerics are required from the church. You build them from the barracks, but they're like a mid-game spellcaster. They're primarily is for healing, and it is a very fast heal. So in combat, it's great against units with low damage, like the zombies. They're more tough than they are powerful, given that they have 5 armor and they're very cheap. They're kind of like Zerglings from StarCraft, except instead of having high speed and high damage, they have low speed and high health. So kind of the inverse, but either way, they're both very cheap units. A very cheap melee unit. Yeah, rebuilding these barracks, very, very important. Getting some upgrades on his clerics, getting some further upgrades from his blacksmith. We do have stat upgrades as well for Ogre Bob. He's got +1 attack, getting armor on the way. And this third base is being attacked. Hoodlings with the fire arrow upgrade have excellent damage versus structures. A little bit late to respond is useless, and he's in a pretty clunky position, so attacking this is going to be difficult. Uses the spirit dwarves to repair that very quickly. Sniping down the shepherds with the spearmen is an excellent play. They have the unarmored armor type, so they're shredded very fast. Enforcers chopping up the zombies pretty effectively. The zombies getting the peasants during this. Hoodlings also can focus the clerics for bonus damage. Yeah, very, very good fight there for Usyless, cleaning up this army. Half of those zombies were attacking the peasants, maybe more than was necessary. He's taken out many peasants, but not enough. Losing... Oh, he uses the recall. The, I don't know what it's called. The Dark Nexus has an ability that he can recall units back to base. So, I don't think that was worth it, though. I think he lost far too much of an army, and this is a scary army mixed in here. Enforcers supported with spearmen and clerics. Very, very tough ground army. Still just building the zombies. He's behind in upgrades, and also he's behind in tech. So there's a unit that is along this tech path that's very strong. It's called the Lich. And the Lich has magic damage, and it's quite a fast unit, so it's very good against the Enforcers. But it looks like he's just going for the Shepherds of Rot with the zombie playstyle. You can see that the popcap must be quite one-sided. Ogre Bob's on 70, Usyless is on 130, so doubling his population cap. Does have some towers here for defense. I don't like his odds though. Also a pretty high-tech base so far. We've got the Altar of Light, which unlocks more powerful Spellbringer abilities. And he's getting some air production. So, okay, zombies are going in. He does use the Eclipse. Death Obelisk completed for extra magic damage. Shepherds are using their Corpse Explosion, so they're going to have excellent damage. Look how splashed up this army is for Usyless. Corpse Explosion does damage over time, it does initial damage, and we have the Undying ability. The zombies are being resurrected during the fight. Now, he's resurrected a human enforcer as well for so much damage. This is a Spellbringer ability, resurrects a dead unit, and it's the exact unit that he wants. It's doing so much against these spearmen, killing them in 2 shots. Uses the Death Knight, getting the Death Call out. Can snipe the enforcers with a single spell cast. Oh, this human enforcer is so powerful. The zombies continue to respawn from the Undying. They respawn at half health. I'm very, very surprised he held that. Oh, actually, I think Death Coil does less damage now. It doesn't quite one-shot the enforcers like it used to, but almost kills them. So he holds it. Wow, what an excellent fight. So a combination of, I think, a few things. It was the Corpse Explosion, very, very deadly. The Spearmen were too close. They were too far forward, so they were also being damaged by that AoE. The Death Towers did heaps. The that Enforcer was sick. I think there was... I didn't see any Spellbringer abilities from Usyless, or I wasn't watching anyway. Yeah, he's got full mana, so even though he had the Altar of Light, he did not make use of his abilities. And there are quite some strong ones that just have passive bonuses. I didn't have Battle Standard. That gives armor around a certain unit with a flag. There's also the Avatar, which gives a damage aura. Maybe he did use that one, I'm not sure, but... Okay, he has held on, so now the game is going to be a lot closer. Let's look at the pop cap for a sec. 90 for Usyless. Ogre Bob has 90, so they're neck and neck as far as their pop cap. Still, the tech is pretty low for Ogre Bob. He has his Altar, so now he himself has some stronger abilities. It also will get him closer to the Liches if he does want to go for those. And yeah, but here we go, the Celestial Gateway. So we're going to see the... What are they called? I forget the name of them actually, we'll see. But they're a flying spellcaster, and they cast Rain of Fire. Very, very powerful against splashed up armies, particularly the zombies. They're very small, they have a very small collision size. You see they clump up a lot more than other units do. Also, because they have so much armor and just very low health, they take so much from spells. Okay, so let's see how this battle goes. Once again, the zombies with the corpse explosion are going to be doing some excellent damage. Clerics are healing the back line. Spearmen are manually targeting the shepherds. Good micro from Usyless. There's the Avatar of Command, giving him the buff, using the taunt to soak up the damage. Perhaps Usyless here, or rather Koth, needs to retreat back to his towers. But as this battle draws out, there will be more and more zombies reincarnating with the Undying ability. And we had another Enforcer. I do forget the name of the ability, forgive me, but it's a very strong ability if you get certain units. And the 4th expansion for Ogre Bob. Sorry, I called him Koth during that fight as well. Usyless also having his 4th base, but now he's building the Angel Knights. That's what they're called. So the Angel Knights are a very, very big swing in this matchup. It forces the Death player to spread their army out, which is not what they want to do. They want to be clumped up like that.
Work complete.
I don't see the Vault of Phylacteries. That's the structure required for the Liches. They are good not only against Enforcers, but also these Archangels, because they have magic armor as well. And they have pretty good range, the Liches, so sniping those what are they called? Angel Knights is going to be very important. 100 pop cap for Usyless, 90 for Ogre Bob. Yeah, there's the Vault, so that's very late. I think that could cost him. Also, we see, yeah, the upgrades coming on the Altar, so that's going to give them more spellbearing abilities. The Resurrection ability can be an absolute game changer. It summons down the Archangel of Life, who can reinforce nearby units for about 30 seconds. Zombie Plague, also very, very deadly ability. Casts an area of effect. All units in that area are affected by a plague. They take... or rather, they're debuffed, doing less damage. But more importantly, when those units die, they spawn a zombie on their corpse. And you can get these incredible drawn-out engagements where Zombie Plague spawns more zombies, those zombies die. Zombies then undying, so they respawn once. So you get these very drawn-out battles, which can favor death, because the shepherds also heal zombies. You might see that in these fights. They do have quite powerful healing, but it's only the zombies that they heal. Where clerics, they heal anything. Enforcers, spearmen, angel knights, as long as it's a biological unit. Of course, it can't heal mechanical units. So I think Usyless is going to have this game because of the Archangel Knights. Let's see if he gets some big Rain of Fires. It's like Sonic Storm if you've played StarCraft. Yeah, he's ahead of his Altar tech as well. He's getting Resurrection. It takes a long time to get, whereas we don't see the Pyramid, the Death Pyramid, which is the equivalent late game, the final tier spell. Devastating damage. Okay, he is pushing out. He's attacking just before the Resurrection is available. These Archangels are ready to go, and I believe they would have been scouted, so Bob might be scaring a little bit here, having to spread out. It is actually kind of hard to attack with Death because they're a slower army. The zombies take so long to move. Okay, here we go. Necromancer's there, summoning units on the front lines, building hoodlings for the anti-air. Let's see the rain of fire. There it has been called down. So much damage on these zombies. They're getting absolutely shredded. Zombie Plague has been cast on the Enforcers. Shepherds of Rot on the back lines. They're doing the Corpse Explosion. They're doing good magic damage versus these Enforcers. And they're the hoodlings for the anti-air, taking these Angel Knights down rather quickly, but there's just too many zombies powering their way through the Enforcers. This army of Usyless is collapsing. The front line's gone. The Spearmen and Clerics are left exposed. And here come the Liches. Very powerful damage. They do drain mana every time they attack. And then when they have no mana, their damage is reduced. They have like an auto cast ability. Rain of Fire, not that effective. So you can see that the green zombies, they're the ones that have the Corpse Explosion activated on them. Attacking up the high ground is going to be more difficult. Necromancer's continuing to deploy units in this battle. Once again, the Enforcer, the Resurrected Enforcer. So the way that Resurrection works is it gets the most expensive unit off of a corpse. You place it and it'll spawn something. These buildings can get sniped very quickly with the fire arrows, but now we have Crusaders, the end of the tier line for the barracks, and the Resurrection Archangel of Light continue to respawn these units, but it can be focused down by those anti-air units. Reinforcing the Crusaders, or rather resurrecting them, is very deadly. Okay, this is a bad fight. Ogre Bob needs to retreat here. He can't fight underneath the Archangel, but it has a very short lifespan. He recalls back with his Dark and Nexus. That was exactly the right play to make, because it's going to time out now, and then he won't have that ability for quite some time. But Ogre Bob lost most of his army. His pop cap is tiny. He's researching his Death Beam. That's his equivalent to the Archangel of Life. But I think he lost too much during that fight. He needed to recall much sooner. As soon as that Resurrection was popped, he should have just bailed.
I await your command.
Expansions around the map, both the corners are being taken. So the Crusaders are a very deadly unit because not only are they quite tough, they have an ability with an upgrade they have with a Divine Plate that all attacks are reduced by 2. So the low damage units, particularly the zombies and the hoodlings, do quite little damage against them. That's where the Liches are really important. Yeah, Ogre Bob losing his 4th base, or rather cancelling it.
Work complete. Work complete. Work complete.
What's the upgrade difference as well? 2, 3. Yeah, also Ogre Bob behind in upgrades. His army's too big. And he has the Angel Knights mixed in for the Rain of Fire. Yeah, he can't fight this. That's going to be GG. He is doing a lot of damage to his own Crusaders, but not going to matter. Did he lose a lot of Necromancers? He must have done. So the problem with the forward Necromancers is you can get Rain of Fired and take a lot of damage on a whole clump of Necromancers. So that was a very good game. That was exciting. I loved seeing that. Really good death play, I think. The Shepherds in combination with the zombies, trading really, really well in those fights. And during that big battle, I think the Rain of Fire, they were a little misplaced. They didn't quite catch all the zombies, but in the end, the Crusader transition was very powerful, making use of the Archangel of Life, giving that battle a big swing. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this look at Spellbringers. If you would like to play, you can join our Discord. The Discord link is below. And yeah, there's a community of us. We are still working on the game, still playing it, making it a fun, competitive RTS. So if you like the look of what you saw, then hope to see you there.